Welcome back to Martial Arts Path. I'm going to go through a few stretches that have been amazingly helpful for the lower body. I'm going to hold them for a minute. If you want to hold them longer, feel free to either run through the entire stretch routine again, or just pause the video and feel that stretch. You want to hold stretches for at least about 30 seconds though, to actually get into that area and let it relax. So first stretch, I'm going to tell you, I don't know all the names for these. So sorry, I'm not that page. So the first one we're going to do is you want to have your feet about a 90 degree, and you don't want to put too much pressure in here. So if you need to lean back, if you feel pinching in this area, you can just kind of lean back on your arm to give yourself that space. But if you can sit all the way up, again, don't push it into that. You want to keep your spine straight, and you'll feel some relaxing in here and some pulling in here. I'm a bit tight, so I'm going to actually lean back slightly before we start. So let's start this stretch. You want to feel a nice pull here. I personally like to also rub the area that I'm stretching. I feel like it relaxes and loosens the muscles a little bit. You have some music playing in the background. Now the same leg position, we're going to go ahead and lean forward. Now this feels really good on the hip for me. So my right hip right now, it's kind of pressing into the ground. Just leaning into that, fully pull for that. If it's too much, you can have your arms up. Keep your spine straight and braced. Brace your core. You can kind of have it from up here. But for me, in this leg, I can really lean into it. We can do all the stretches on both sides. So you go ahead and swing around to the other side in a moment. Stretch it out for a second if you need to in between. Okay, I'm gonna get into the other position. Again, you need to take a little bit of that pressure off by leaning away from it. I'm actually a little more flexible on this side. So when I'm facing this way, I can actually sit into this stretch, into this side hip and this thigh. Leaning forward yet. I'm literally allowing this leg to have full extension in the muscle, in the thigh muscle, and this hip before I lean forward and feel the stretch in this outer muscle here. So now we're going to go ahead and lean in to the front. Now, again, like I said, I'm not that flexible on this side, so I kind of have to brace myself up a little bit more, even though I'm feeling that pull. I can't fully lean into it like I did with the other one. flexible person. But as you can see, I started off, I needed to be up a little bit more. And as the stretch is going, I was actually able to come off of my tips of my fingers, just kind of flatten out now. I'm still holding myself up slightly, but just sitting here in this stretch is really helpful. The next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna unfold our legs. And we're just going to go ahead, keep your spine straight and brace your core so you don't put extra strain in your lower back, because a lot of times when people go to do this stretch, they want to touch their toes and they kind of hump their back a little bit, like just like, oh yeah, I'm so flexible, I can touch my toes. No, here, can't touch your toes anymore. This is not good because all this strain is in your back, okay? So we're gonna here, and if you can touch your toes, it's with your back straight. Now that I feel here. So that's the stretch we're gonna do. You're just going to brace your core and just relax into it. Now if you have really tight calves, you'll feel it in your calves before you feel it in your hamstrings. That's okay. You don't need your feet to like super close together either. You're not squeezing and working that muscle. Just breathe. It's okay to just rest your hands. Just allow them to stretch as the natural stretch happens. If you flex your feet back, you'll feel more of a stretch in the hamstrings if you have really tight hamstrings. So we're actually going to do this stretch 2 ways. So first we're going to do it where I'm flexing so I can, I have super tight hamstrings. I'm sorry, I'm making noises, but that's just the reality of my stretching existence. And then we're going to go ahead and relax the toes. You don't want to hyper, extend them, but then when I do that, I feel it more in the hamstrings. Just let my toes kind of relax. I also feel some pull here in the, can't remember what they're called right now. Shins, that's it. Like I said, I just work, rub as I go. This is a little pain, but like a good pain, the pain gain kind of pain, not the excruciating, everything's falling off pain. Hold that for a minute. After this, we're just going to open into it. I call it a V-stretch, but it's actually called open up. Again, spine straight, core braced. You just sit here for a second. If you're not super flexible, we're going to stretch the inner thigh area. So I do this in 3 parts. So first we're going to start with a forward stretch. Again, no curving the back so you can feel awesome as you touch the ground. Just lean forward. You can hold yourself up if you need to. Breathe through it. You want your legs as open as comfortable for yourself. You'll feel the nice pull here. I feel like I'm imagining like pressing my thighs into the ground lightly while I lean forward. Exhaling through my body and my legs. Sorry, I'm not a happy face stretcher because I am not flexible and my muscles are always tight and sore. So it's not cute, but it's necessary. Sometimes I'll get the elbows in there. We're gonna lean back still, straight, and it just puts a little extra stretch on the opposite side. thighs feel great after I do this. I need to force myself to do it more often, honestly. I take the stretching for granted. And that stretching back too. It's not the focus, it's the lower body stretch is the focus. I'm gonna go to the other side. You might actually be able to open up a little bit more after you stretch some. If it's becoming a little too easy, you're not really feeling the stretch anymore, just open up a little bit. This is a lot for me. Like, honestly, I used to be, my legs would be like here. This is a lot for me, which is good. It means I'm progressing. One day I might end up in that Van Damme split for you older folks who know what I'm talking about. These young whippersnappers don't know Van Damme. Unless you're a martial artist, then you probably see his movies. Action stuff. Back in the 90s. And we're just gonna do it back in the center for about 30 seconds. Ooh, makes a difference. But for me anyways, I can definitely feel them a little bit lower. Back is still straight, not hunched over, so that way I feel like I'm awesome, because then it's like, oh, my face can touch the ground. Back is still straight. Oh, but I feel it. Then we're gonna go back to center. Close it up, release that tension. And I actually just want to wiggle. It seems really silly, I know, but it's actually releasing a lot of the tension, letting that blood flow. These stretches for people who have knee pain, it's really good actually to stretch the muscles in the calves, shins, thigh, and quadricep, because muscles are pulling on tendons. So you have really tight muscles in your legs, then it's pulling on the tendons, like your knees, your ankles, things like that. So stretching not only relieves the soreness in the muscles that you're working, but it relieves the pressure on the tendons that are holding all those things together. So something you want to do. The next thing we're going to do is for these muscles back here. They're very tight for me. I'll have to look up what they are, but those muscles are very tight. So actually, crossing the legs, again, brace the core, back straight, and it looks super simple. Just grab the wrist. I'm crossing with my right leg. So my right hand braces the outside, and my left hand pulls across. So my left hand is pulling like this across my body. And I just sit there. And it's allowing this muscle here just really stretch out. Okay, so let's go. Go. And I'm sitting into it. So I'm trying to sit my right butt cheek down into the ground while using my upper body to pull my leg across. So you're gonna work your upper body a little bit on this stretch if you're not flexible like myself, because as you can see, I can't even bring my right leg up to past my knee. I can't set it on the floor or anything. So it's a really good stretch for me. And like all the other ones, we're gonna switch to the other side. The other side is my tight side. All right, let's switch. Oh, okay. Ooh. We all have one side, but most people have one right, sit my butt down. Oh man, feel that muscle. It looks like nothing's happening. I'm sure you feel it. That you feel it right now, right? Oh, yeah, sometimes I just wiggle that ankle. Good ankle stretches. All right. Ooh, release. Oh, release. Another way to do that exercise, if you don't have the upper body strength or the flexibility, is actually to turn, lay on your back. You just cross, and you try to keep your shoulders as flat as possible, but allow your knee and leg to drop to the side. Stretches your spine and it pulls on this side muscle here. Just an alternative. So if you don't want to do it the way I just did it sitting up, you can do it this way. What I'll do sometimes is in bed. If I'm feeling a bit tight, I might do it this way. But I feel for me more of a stretch doing it sitting up because I can actually, my upper body can actually just pull on that a bit. So now, another thing we're gonna do, you can get a towel, you can get a sheet, a belt, and you just kind of put it on the ball of the foot, and you're gonna pull. You can either press if you want an active stretch, or you can relax and just allow the pull to stretch your calf. You don't want to pull and bend the knee at all, okay? So ready? Start on either side or start on the left, and breathe into it. Ooh. Again, my calf's super tight, so I'm feeling this. You don't necessarily want it on the middle of your foot because then you won't actually flex the calf. And you don't want it on the toes because you don't want that much pressure on such fragile little bones. So relax into it. Ooh, sometimes that really gets into it. All right, then we're gonna switch. And, oh yes. This is some good stuff. I don't know if you guys can feel what I'm feeling, but man. I'm just thinking of keeping my thigh down, keeping that knee with that full extension. Sometimes I'm pressing into the belt, sometimes I'm relaxing and just pulling. I'm doing variations for myself. Wherever you're feeling that stretch, ooh, like right now that press, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. This one's hard to rub and do the pull, as you can see. Unless I guess if I do this. Try to massage it. Right now I just need a full pull. And we're going to use this same thing to do a thigh stretch. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a loop. For me, because of this being a belt, it kind of has a loop. If you have an actual belt, you can do the same thing. If you're using a sheet, maybe you can just kind of, or a towel, loop your foot like that. What we're going to do is, because not everybody is flexible enough, if you don't need an apparatus, essentially the stretch is this. Ooh, you're gonna hold Keep your back, don't flex your back. If you have to flex your back like this, don't do it. You need to be able to relax your back and keep your core braced, okay? My leg comes out to the side a little bit because I'm not that flexible to keep it straight behind me. That's where this comes in. So we're going to go ahead and loop this around the middle of the foot. Bring this over the shoulder. Relax, raise your core so your back does not arch like that. Raise your core and pull. You will feel it in the thigh, through the entire thigh. Just lay into that. Just lay into it, relax. Pull as much as you need to not cause pain, but give yourself a nice stretch. Oh yeah. And it's okay. If you're back here and you're feeling it, it's fine. If you're here and you're feeling, that's fine. It's wherever you need to, whatever you feel. And it will get easier and easier for you, I promise. I used to not be able to touch at all. And now, if I have to, I can grab my foot. Okay? But it comes out a little bit to the side. So I tend to want a nice straight pull. Switching legs. So that way I get a full pull, let's start, through the entire thigh. This one is super helpful for my knee, to be quite honest, because my thigh muscles tend to really pull on that knee. All right, ooh, relax that down, felt great. You can do that in bed. Ooh, shake through the whole leg. All right, a few more. All right, so the next set of things we're gonna do, you might wanna get something, I just got like a little blanket, something to put under your knees, so that way they're not directly on the ground, because this can be a little bit painful on your knees. Give you a yoga mat, a pillow, anything you want. So this is what I have. So the first position we're gonna have is feet together, kind of see in the martial arts movies. And you might not be able to fully sit back. Like I can't fully like sit back and I still have a gap between my feet and my butt, and my ankles and my butt. It's completely fine. You might even be here because you can't put that much pressure on the ankles. But this is a great ankle stretch. So we're gonna go here. Again, we never want to arch that back that way. We never want to, hyperextend, arch it the opposite. Just want a nice tabletop. And as much back as you can go, that's how much you go. So if this is comfortable for you, then this is where you are. Some people can be up here, up here, up here. This is as far as I can go comfortably. So we're gonna hold it for a minute, okay? And adjust as you need to go. So but I don't think I'll hold the whole minute here. Sometimes I do a little motion to just kind of get the size full stretch. Don't do anything that's painful. Feel my feet fall asleep a little bit. So I'm going to take a little pressure off. You might feel some nice stretching in your thighs, depending on how tight you are. Stretch. And then now we're going to do the opposite side. Ooh. So you can dig your toes into the ground as much as you can. And I can't sit up on my feet. Let me try a little bit. Some people can sit up like this and it's comfortable. I feel it a lot in my toe. I feel a little too much. So I personally stay here and just kind of press my hips back, use my arms and press back. You'll feel it in the arch of your foot, the bottom of your foot, and your toes. You just want to get the other side of that stretch. Sometimes I do a little bit of that as well. So then you release it a little bit. You want to try to get the balls of your feet down. Ooh, all right. Gotta come off a little. Feeling it. All right. Oh, ooh. Yes, shake that out. Wiggle those toes a little. All right. Now another stretch, great for the hip flexors. That we're going to do is you're just gonna lift one leg up. And going to kind of press your hip forward, but not leaning your whole body forward. You're just pressing that hip, and you're feeling it in here, in that hip flexor muscle here. If you're already, flexible in there, you might have to like extend your arm up to really get a nice stretch through that whole side of your body. I'm not that flexible. So I feel this right in here, I feel it. And you want your foot laying down. If you do this, it relieves some of the tension in here. Actually still feels pretty good. So I guess you can, if you're already not flexible, you could, flex that, but maybe add more pressure, I'm not really sure. But I just know that this here, I feel it plenty. And this, not so much, I think because it propels me a little bit forward. So. Then we're going to go into then when I lean, keep my tailbone tucked, stretching this calf muscle here. Stretching this ankle specifically. My knee doesn't go over my toes, it's just right in line with my toes for the most part. And I'm feeling pull right in here. And you can feel some pull in here as well. And you extend that out. All of that for me. Again, keep that back as straight as possible. If you're feeling pain in your knees, then don't do this, especially the knee that's on the ground. Okay, we're gonna come out of that one. Woo. And we're gonna switch. Okay. We're gonna be stretching to break a sweat. Sometimes I hold the hip so that way I can press. Pressing into it. Some of you might be able to go further than this, or less. You might be up here, and this is enough, or up here. Just go what's comfortable for you. Put your hands down to brace yourself. Get yoga blocks. They help. Just get like something sturdy. Okay. Whew. And come up out of that. You sit back. Again, quads. I like to do it this way. Stretching this more. If it's too much to sit on your leg, like I'm doing, then some people do it this way to do their stretch. So I don't know if you can see me sitting right now. I should, but yeah, they do it this way. You have some people do it like this for that stretch. But because I'm not flexible in my hips, elevating allows me to really get in there with this stretch in my quads. Switching. All right. So again, if you can't do that and it hurts, you can switch to this position and stretch out and feel it there. You see how my leg elevates? I don't feel that stretch when I do it this way. I feel the stretch here because I'm not flexible that way. So I had to find an alternative, which is to elevate by sitting on this side and then you press. Get a stretch in that quad. One thing I've learning about fitness and health is it's okay to be creative because our bodies are not built the same. So something that someone else can do, you might not be able to do at this moment. And that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It just means that you're currently built a little bit differently. And because we have differences, it means that we have to treat our bodies differently. Even this position, I know a lot of people can't be here. They're here right now. And I'll have another video where I go over how to work your way into this squat position to make it comfortable for you. Because this is a very good kind of basic stretch position. Basic in the sense of fundamental, I should say. Not basic in the sense of easy to get into. I had to work my way into this. Even though I'm not flexible, I still had to work because I'm not flexible, I should say, I had to work my way into this position to make it as comfortable as possible. It's still not fully comfortable, like I couldn't stay here for hours. Eventually I want to be able to just stay here for hours because it is a fundamental position that shows you that you have mobility in your ankles, strength in your, openness in your hips, strength in, it doesn't require a lot of strength, but it does require some mobility. So anyways, thank you for joining me with this lower body stretch. I hope I showed you some interesting things. Please let me know if you want any alternatives, any modifications for anything. I'd be more than happy to help you with that. Okay, until the next video, I'm continuing on my martial arts path and I'm sharing it with you and I hope you enjoy. All right, bye.